Hi everyone. Today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to grab data from Q that's brought into Excel, and we can edit pretty easily to fill out forms such as this. All this information we can grab from Q reports under class marks listing. I'm going to go ahead and get mine set to our last 6-week grading period, semester 2 progress 1. I excluded progress term. And I think the typical workflow is everybody creates a report to download and email off to Miss Teresa. But in this case, I'm not going to use the PDF form. I'm actually going to export the report. And what it's going to do is create an Excel sheet for us. Now, this file is downloaded to my downloads folder, and at this moment, I will not open it because that does have sensitive student data. I actually created a fake Excel sheet that looks very similar with fake names, fake ID numbers. But this is what the Excel download will look like. Now, there is a lot of information, so this tutorial is mainly about how to get it cleaned up so it is easily copied and pasted over to this Google Spreadsheet. So let's go ahead and just figure out what data we actually need. We need first, last, grade, ID, course name, period, and teacher name. The rest we can get rid of. So let's go ahead and start deleting stuff. Now, these first 2 rows, I'm going to actually just leave here for a moment. I'm going to delete these zeros. I don't even know what they're for. Row number TA. Let's go ahead and delete this. But it will make sense in a moment while I'm leaving these here. The ID number is this column D. I do need this. Quick tip is just double click between D and E and it will resize the column automatically to the appropriate width. I do like to actually extend it a little bit, so let's drag that over. For this form, we do not need gender nor the term. So let's go ahead and click on the letter E, click and drag from E to F, right click, delete those columns. We do need the course name, but we don't need this long explanation. So I'm going to shorten this a little bit. Let's just go type computer graphics. And at that point, I'm then going to grab this bottom right corner and just go ahead and drag it down. And it's going to copy and replace all this information. There is probably a quicker trick to replace this information. If anybody knows, let me know. Well, let's go ahead and resize this just to keep this clean a little bit. Period. We do need this one. It was required in the spreadsheet over here. Again, I'm trying to match these columns over here. I do need the period. I do not need this one or the room number. So let's click and drag from G to H, right click, delete. I do need the teacher name. And with the rest of this stuff, I think I can delete most of it. Let's grab this course title. I already have title, section, valley, and I already have my name in there. Let's go ahead and right click, delete this information out. Grade level, yes. Okay, and the only thing I think I need is column Q that has the grade. That's going to help us sort our data. And I'm going to click from letter I all the way to P, right click, delete. We do have the grade, and I am now going to then get rid of the rest of this just to keep our spreadsheet clean from J all the way over. Let's just drag and right click, delete this information, and see if we got this. Now, we're almost there. For the spreadsheet, we are required to separate last name, first name, and the report that we download from Q has it separated by a comma. And there's an easy way to separate this. Let's just start from the bottom. I prefer to drag from the bottom up all the way to my first student. And we're going to go to data. Text to columns is the key right here. And what this does is asks us, click on delimited and just go to next. And what it does is it asks us how we want to separate, or what qualifiers, what characters should we separate? Do we want to separate by a comma is the one that we want in this case. So everywhere there's a comma, we want to separate it. I actually do have space also. I'm going to uncheck that actually. That's going to explain that in a moment. But I just want to separate by comma. There are times that I do want to separate it by a parenthesis, which for some reason it's not allowing me to enter this while I record. Let's go to uncheck this. But I'm going to separate by the comma. And it does have a preview down here at the bottom. Let's go and click next. And I'm going to click finish. Now, we can rename these columns to last, first, And this third column was actually going to be separate this middle initial, but I unchecked that box for space. If you have it separate by space, it would have taken this initial and added it to column C. So actually, but I don't need that, so let's go ahead and delete this one. And I think we're pretty close, except for our order is out of order a little bit. Over on the Google Sheet, it's last, first, then the grade level we wanted next. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the letter G, highlight this grade. Now, if you come to the edge of this green box here, it's a 4 black arrow cursor. But one key, please make sure you hold Shift. And what Shift does is it allows it to move it in between. So you can just drag it to wherever. I'm going to drag it between column B and column C. Let go of your mouse first, then let go of Shift, and we now have it in the correct order. We have last, first, grade, ID, the course name, period, and teacher. Now, I don't need to copy all these students over. I just need to grab my students that are in danger of failing. So we need to resort this. So let's go ahead and click and drag from last name all the way to the mark, and we're gonna want to sort this data. So let's go back to Home in Excel. I'm gonna go to Sort and Filter, click on Sort and Filter, and go to Filter. And that adds these little drop arrows. Now what we could do is we can then sort this data. Actually, this is very helpful. Sometimes people want to know who all your seniors are. We could sort from largest to smallest, and it grabs all my seniors up here. We could sort by period, sort them all by name, and so forth. I'm actually going to come here to marks. Let's drop. If you sort from A to Z, it's going to put it in alpha order, A, B, C, F's at the bottoms. But in this case, I'm going to sort from Z to A, and it puts my students in danger of failing here at the top. All right, I got everything in order. Move my columns to the right area. I could further clean this up, but really that would just be petty at this moment. I'm just going to take this top 5 students here. I don't need the grade over in the spreadsheet, so I'm just going to go from my name to the student's name and Control C. And let's come back to our spreadsheet. This is a copy. I am not editing the school's document. If you Control V and just paste it, it's going to take my formatting and apply it to the spreadsheet, which I don't want to do. So Control Z. But in this case, I'm going to do a Control Shift Z, which if you do forget that, it is under Edit, Paste, not Paste, but Paste Special, Values Only, Control Shift Z, Control Shift V will then paste my values, but leave the current font and coloring as is on this already formatted on this spreadsheet. All right, so I'm sorry if this is a little bit too late for a form that you filled out, but hopefully this will come into use at some time in the future. Hope everybody's doing well, and oops, thank you for listening.